There is a song called Live While We're Young by Johnny Swim. And it's a song that my wife likes a lot, and she's listened to it a number of times, and it's really grown on me, and I really like it too. And when I listen to the lyrics, I hear ESFP. And so what I want to do in this video is just share a few of the lyrics with you. I'm not going to share every lyric from the song because some of them I don't think apply to this topic. And the lyrics that I will share with you are repeated on a few occasions. But I want to just kind of go over a few of these lyrics. And why I think it relates so much to the ESFP is because perhaps as much, if not more than any type, the ESFP is really designed to seize the moment. ESFPs are very live in the moment kind of people. They're always, I think, for the most part, the vast majority of ESFPs that you're going to encounter are always eager to try new experiences, to go out and take in everything that the physical sensory world has to offer, and to not allow themselves to be held back by a lot of considerations that I think cause other people to hesitate. And I think a lot of us really miss out on a lot of wonderful experiences in life because we allow too many things to make us hesitate. Whereas I think the ESFP just pushes forward, partly out of just the sheer excitement of going out and experiencing things. That extroverted sensing first function wants to experience, and the introverted feeling second function is just really all about, figuring out what it likes. And so the ESFP is just constantly moving forward with experiencing life and really drinking every moment of existence down to just find out all the amazing things that there are out there to enjoy and to like. So let's just go over a few of these lyrics, and I think you'll see hopefully how this really does fit the ESFP. And if you know any ESFPs, or if you are one, by all means comment below and let me know if you think this is fitting. So the song says, after a few opening verses that I don't think are so important to this video, it says, "Make no mistake, we'll live while we're young. We'll chase down the sun." And I think that's just such a beautiful thought. The thought that you are going to realize that you are in a period of your life, and young can be very relative, right? We can be talking literal teenage or 20s, or we can be talking about someone who is older technically, but still very able-bodied and willing to go out and live. We will live while we're young. We'll chase down the sun. And when I think chase down the sun, I imagine, okay, so I'm in the United States, I'm in the Midwest, but I imagine like getting in my car in the morning when the sun has come up and driving west, because the sun is always moving to the west, and like chasing down the sun. So where I am now, it gets dark around maybe 7 p.m. at this time of year. But if I were to go west out toward like Colorado, it's going to be getting dark there, yes, also at the same time. But here it would be a different time, right? So like I'm chasing the sun so that I can stay with it as it's going down, so that the darkness comes later, really. I'm gaining daylight hours by driving west toward Colorado or to all the way to California. And almost extending my day, or extending the sunlight hours of my day. I'm chasing down the sun. And then they go on to say, hands off the brake. So the idea is, let's say you have a hand-operated brake on whatever vehicle you're operating. Take your hand off the brake. We're not slowing down. We are going full speed ahead to experience all that life has to offer. And then they go on to say, we can die when we're done. Let's live while we're young. It's so interesting to think of that line, we can die when we're done. I think that there is a sense that a human being, in a way, can die long before they're done technically living. Because while the body goes on living, if you give up on learning and experiencing, there is a sense in which you have died while you're still alive. You're not living, you're just existing. And I think all of us have gone through times in our life where we were existing more so than living. And I think if you want to see someone who is really trying to grab every moment and live right up until the very last possible moment, I think the ESFP is such a good representation of that. And so this song, by saying, look, we can die when we're done. We can die when we're done living. Let's not die while we're still existing. Let's go on living, exploring, experiencing, grabbing life. Not just letting it come to us, but going out there and grabbing life. And we can die when we're done with all of that. But right now, let's live. Let's live while we're young. And then I love this line. It says, I won't pass up on the danger. I'd miss out on the fun. Won't miss out on the fun. And if that's not an ESFP line, I don't know what is. I think that, there are two really interesting proverbs that a person can live by. One is look before you leap. So the idea is before you move, step back a moment and think about that and make sure you analyze whether or not your movement is wise. And another one is he who hesitates is lost, meaning you just need to go. You need to do. If you take too much time thinking or analyzing, you're lost. You won't move forward. You won't accomplish. And the reality is that wisdom, the wise life, probably where it falls somewhere in the middle. But I think that the ESFP lives largely by a he who hesitates is lost mind frame. Now, maybe for the safety and overall physical well-being of the ESFP, there might be some wisdom in, analyzing this whole concept of look before you leap. But I think to a very large degree, the ESFP will say, I won't pass up on the danger. I'm willing to subject myself to the potential danger because I don't want to miss out on the fun. And the song goes on to say, you can barricade these walls and seek surrender. We'll taunt enough to turn the raging sea. And this is where it really gets down to it. But the only way you'll find to quench these embers is killing me. And I think that, what I was talking about a moment ago about a person sort of dying while they still are alive, by shutting down and no longer learning, no longer experiencing, no longer going out into the world and finding out all that there is out there. When that happens, there is a sense in which we could say that the embers of the fire of that person's life have been quenched. The body is existing, the mind is still functioning, but that person is not going out and living. And like I said, we're all guilty of doing that from time to time, but it's sad to see somebody fall into that being their daily life pattern over the course of months or years. And I think while certainly, look, anyone can have that happen to them, and there are all sorts of factors that lead to that. Some of them are very clinical, and doctors need to be seen and things of that nature. So I'm not downplaying it as though anyone who's stuck in that can just get up one morning and decide not to be that way. And ESFPs certainly are capable of falling into that as much as anybody else. But I will say that if you want to sort of look at that ESFP mentality, it really is something along the lines of the only way you're ever going to quench those embers that are burning inside the soul of an ESFP who wants to go out and just take life by the horns and experience everything there is to experience. The only way you're going to find to quench those embers is killing them, which of course, don't ever kill anybody. That's a horrible thing to do. I'm not suggesting that you should or that should ever be a course of action. But the metaphor is so good to say that the fire inside of an ESFP that burns inside of them and causes them to want to go out and experience everything that life has to offer just is almost unquenchable apart from killing the person, more so I think than almost any other type. And if you don't have an ESFP in your life, boy, if you can find a friend who is an ESFP, you will experience some amazing things. It won't be boring. It might wear you out, but it will never be boring, because we're talking about just some of the most not only fun and fun-loving people, but energetic people. And by the way, extremely intelligent too. So for anyone who out there who wants to downplay the intelligence of people who are technically sensors, let me tell you that you're not paying very close attention, because the ESFPs are not only going to take you for a fun ride of life experiences, but you will be amazed at how much wisdom and intellectual, what's the word I'm looking for? Intellectual conversation, I guess, and intellectual stimulation that you'll be able to have along the way. ESFPs are just amazing. One of my absolute favorite types, honestly. And if you get a chance, go to Spotify or YouTube or wherever, listen to this song. And then if you do know an ESFP, or you are one, just really think about whether or not what I'm saying makes sense. They are people who live while they're young, chase down the sun, and they are just filled with a fire that burns for the experience of the physical world that just cannot be quenched. And quite honestly, at times, it's a fire that spreads. It's a fire that can catch from them to you and cause you to have a driving passion to go out and experience life that otherwise you might not have had. Thank you so much for watching. Do please click like if you found this video entertaining, informational, or useful. Please subscribe if you have not already, and have an awesome day. Bye now.